Call the meeting to order. It is Tuesday, June 25th at noon. We are at the Merrill Area Chamber of Commerce, and this is the Merrill Tourism Commission meeting. Welcome, everybody. Item number 2 is public comment. Is there any public comment?
I just have one thing, and that is I went to the Airport Commission and brought up the idea for next year, possibly next year, Mark's on that too, to maybe bring back an air show. So maybe an antique flying or something. Now nothing is approved, it's just going to go to discussion, but I thought I'd mention it to keep it in mind to maybe add it to the events list for next year in the calendar. But I will come back, or Mark will come back and tell you if it actually is going to happen or not. I volunteered Mark to do it all, but you know, I didn't see him jump at the chance.
He's a good one for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you keep us informed.
If I may, you know, the events calendar that's in the in the guide there, we only know what we're told.
Yeah.
Okay? If people don't tell us what's going on, we don't know. So.
And I know that technically it's public comment, but if that is something that they are considering bringing back, that would be something to keep an eye on the commission tourism funding for, because something like obviously if people
Right, they have to
they
make
stay
requests.
somewhere.
Right,
Yep.
so they know
Yep.
to make requests.
Coming back from the airport commission meeting the other night also, Merrill again is a finishing line for the Air Cup race, which is just the finish line, and they actually all land in Wausau, but there's going to be a lot of aircraft flying around.
When is that? July?
July, I don't have it.
July 30th, isn't it? Is when the EAA is somewhere in that.
It's
that's
after.
correct.
It's
Yeah.
after. But,
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on. Item number 3, review approved minutes from November's meeting.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there is a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. All right. Number 4, review of 2024 budget.
Here's some information.
Thank you.
Bob, you're a council member. I'll provide this to you.
Thank you.
What I wanted to do, have this in front of you with regard to 2023 and 2024. 2023, so you're aware, when it says January through December, those are the numbers that was collected for room tax for the first, second, third, and fourth quarters of 2023. Even though we received the fourth quarter payment in the first quarter of 2024. Okay, so it's actually the calendar year of dollars collected in room tax. This past year was $85,587. The budget that was sent to us for room tax was roughly $91,000. And you can see where the money was spent from 2023. Within your packet itself, I have. That's right here. I wanted to give you information on those actual expenses that were exceeding the budgets. Okay? Oh, shoot. That's one page, isn't it? Sorry. I'm going to take them apart and pull. Wait a minute. What the heck did I do?
That's
So these are all the same.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me this. My mistake.
Yeah, he's only supposed to do one.
My mistake, because I thought I had that listed in here. Yeah, it is. In the back of your, towards the very end. We printed them off, sure. I had them here. For 2023. Yeah, this was it. Here, it's one page.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
Get that at the bottom.
Thank you, sir.
That was 2023's, the first was trade show, additional advertising. I'll let you know it was live, okay? And conferences. So,
Okay.
the first one is the additional, we can look at the additional advertising one. It showed on here that we spent in 2023, 24,392 in additional advertising. Here's the whole list of what we spent in advertising. What happened then is the 2023 guide cost tourism $5,670 more. Not this one, but the one previous. They needed more printing or more. There's a more cost associated with it. I think Dan and we discussed that back then.
More pages or
think-
something possibly?
It could have been more pages, but I know the photo news had more. There was a more of an expense than we previously
Sure.
than we expected, and so that's what part of that that is for the 2023 guide. 2022, yes. And then down below here, we renewed Sharpa for a couple of $1,000. But if you look at special events, some of this advertising that took place, Close Publications comes around here in July, August or September for publications for the following year, and they were paid this time in 2023. That's why you see the additional cost of advertising. Okay, so some of this,
So
there
you're
were
a
some,
year
there are
ahead,
a couple
really.
of them, yes, there were a couple of them that were paid in 2 years. The Fun in Wisconsin Events Planner, it was 2 years in one, basically, in some of those instances. The trade show document, the trade show in 2023 was $3,000. We didn't have anything budgeted in 2023 for that. The bills came in 2023 that we needed to pay for, like the lacrosse show, the Iowa show, the Madison show for those booths in the state fair. The state fair occurred, but we had to pay those fees up front in order to reserve our spot. The WJJQ home show, we went up there and shared the booth with Tomahawk Chamber. That was our half of the fee reimbursement for state fair and mileage. What happened at state fair, we go down and it's from 9 to 9 on Saturday. We were there for 12 hours. It's mileage going down, it's the hotel room instead of driving back that night, and some meals that took place that day. So you'll see some reimbursement here to myself or Cheryl. The chamber does not have a charge card. We're in the process, we had one, but we couldn't get it corrected with the right signatures on it, so we canceled it. We're applying for another one, so we're just going to use that charge card instead of having us pay. I have no problem paying for it, nearly sure, as long as we get it reimbursed, but you're going to see my name on here and be aware of
You
that.
feel that the debit card is work?
I do not want to use a debit
Okay.
card for the chamber because of fraud.
Okay.
It's so easy to fraudulently use it. If you use
So
a
you
debit
feel
card to pull
that
it.
the credit card then is a better way than to,
Oh, absolutely it is.
That's fine.
It's a safer, more secure way to use than it is than a debit card.
Mhm.
So I paid for it myself and we got reimbursed. So you
Mhm.
see what happened there. Okay, I just wanted to touch base with you on that. And the conferences was $1,300, even though we had $3,000 budgeted. When you see WITGOT, it's Wisconsin Governor Conference on Tourism. Okay, so we ended up doing. We had 2 rooms down there. Cheryl and I think Cheryl and I went this in 2023 for that, early in the spring of the year. And in 2024 we had Sarah go down. Down to, it was
Teresa
late.
went. No, I didn't go in
It was
2020.
Teresa. But if anybody on this committee wants to go to the Wisconsin Governor Conference on Tourism, they're more than happy to go down there for the weekend. Okay, you're more than welcome to go along and do that. Right? I just wanted to touch base with you on 2023 because we've seen a little bit more expenses. Okay,
but we did more things though.
we did more things,
And that's important to get the exposure.
and some of that will show up in 2024. Yeah.
Right.
We made a commitment here at the chamber to spend more time on the road tooting our own horn. Okay, because if nobody's out there telling people about Merrill, Wausau's not gonna do it for us,
Yeah.
okay? Bedford's not gonna do it for us. So the 2024 budget, the number you see of $105,000, that's the number that was provided to us. When I say us, in the city's budget, what they expected to receive from room tax to paid to tourism, okay? Now, so everyone's aware that room tax is by state statute, and I've got all of that information here, so if anybody wants to review the statute, things of that nature, and what it's how it created, it's Chapter 18, Article 2, Section 18 to 36, and that's of the Merrill City ordinances, but it's also Wisconsin Statute 66.0615 about establishing the room tax and where the money goes for that. The money needs to be dispersed to a DMO, a destination marketing organization, and the chamber is one of those organizations that it can be distributed to. So that $105,000 is what council had seen in the budget that was prepared on September 30th, 2023. It's expected budget request 2024 of $105,000. Okay? So that's what's anticipated. They believe the room tax at this point in time was going to generate roughly $150,000, and 105 was supposed to come into this tourism commission to spend. So based upon that, this is how we divided the money out last fall. You can see some of these have not paid. We know that the Merrill ice strikes did not take place. They had some advertisement. We haven't heard from them at all about getting reimbursed for any of that. So we know that we're not going to disperse that $4,000, or at least all of it. The dog sled race did not take place, so we know that that's not going to be dispersed. The fair will take place. That'll be dispersed. The Labor Day Car Classic, they typically will be in that $1,200 range. Concertina Festival spent the $450. The rodeo, we're expecting to get invoices from them for that to pay it. The Black Squirrel Scurry is going to take place, I think, is it this weekend, within the next couple of weeks?
No, another month,
Another month or
End
so?
of July.
end
Okay.
of July.
The Underdown Trail Ride is going to take place. The Underdown Fat Bike Races, we only dispersed 183 of the $250. So there's going to be some dollars left over in this. Okay. The other promotions this year, in your packet, it shows how we spent that money for $79. It was $8,600 that we spent of the $7,900. And again, we ended up having to spend $325 to reserve our spot for the Madison Trade Show back in the May. Tomahawk Show is on here. What will take place, I am going down to State Fair, or we're going down to State Fair. We got to develop a schedule. Tomahawk is not able to join us this year, so we get passes, parking passes, and also passes to it. It's a 12-hour day on Sunday, August 4th. I think that's the 4th on Sunday. We need to be down there between 9 and 9:30 to set up the booth. Typically, we're going to have a table about half of this size, and the other half is by another organization. That'll be Bike Lacrosse has the other half of it for that particular day. Last year when we went there, we brought 400 guides down, or they shipped 400 guides, and we brought an extra 200 with us, and we got rid of all of them by noon, along with bags. And I think, so, you have a bag over there? We ended up partnering with the county and Tomahawk Chamber and the Merrill Chamber. We have these bags printed up and they're handed out. And we, at the last trade show, we pre-stuffed them with our information. So when people took them, they got our visitor guide and they got the Tomahawk visitor guide. The county spent some ARPA funds to get that done, and so they're moving forward with that. It works out really, really well. we went through a lot of material. And so we sit there and talk to people about Merrill. That day we were there, they had a record attendance of 250,000 people at the state fair that last year when we were there.
That's a lot of handshaking.
It is.
So is it all families or other businesses, or you don't know, I suppose?
For what?
That come to the booth that talk to you?
They're individuals.
Yeah.
They're individuals that come through from all over, from northern Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota. They're just from all over. You just shake hands and talk to them. Hand out literature on the campgrounds, on the underdown, on a lot of our bike trails. A lot of state maps will provide them with a lot of just different things that we have available to them. It was fun. You know, I don't mind standing there and talking to people, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it worked out really, really well, and we're going to do it again this year. So this year we're going to try and get a schedule together and maybe do 3 or 4 hour shifts.
You see other
Get people
communities
coming.
there also?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're with this Travel Wisconsin, their booth, and they got a picture. They got one of these walls that you can stick your head through the picture, or stand there and hold a cheese wedge, or put it in front of you, or just stuff like that, and
What
take
day,
their pictures.
what days?
One day.
What day are you going?
August 4th.
August 4th.
So what'll happen is, if I'm going to be there the whole day, whoever's there at the last shift, they can, if they want to, they can drive back. But we usually get a hotel room for that, because a 3 hour ride back after standing on your feet for that long, it makes it a little difficult.
Yeah, if you have
Not
to
get back
stand
till
the whole
midnight.
time.
But this past year, when I say past year, I mean in January. The first trade show in January was down in it was
Cedar
in
Falls.
Cedar Falls, Iowa. We chose Cedar Falls, Iowa, because the state of Wisconsin pumps a ton of money into Iowa for advertising for people to come and visit Wisconsin. We wanted to leverage their monies and go down there. Cedar Falls is also where Paul Jesperson played basketball in Northern Iowa University. We had somewhere around 250 people sign up for our giveaway. The business community was very, very generous. We got a 2-night stay at the American. We got a whole bunch of things. Passes for the fair, passes for the rodeo, depending upon when they wanted to come up. The total, pardon me? Aquatic center passes, bowling passes. It turned out to be, the package was about $900 in value that we didn't have to fork a dime over to. So the business community came forward. That worked out really well.
And some of those events, they could come twice. You know.
Oh, absolutely. We're about an hour and a half from La Crosse from there. So the next one, I think it was La Crosse, right? Yep.
Yes.
We went to La Crosse and spent time there. We were near the parakeet thing.
Yeah.
A big thing somebody brings in, and it's all just parakeets. People walk in there and leave the parakeets, land on them, and they can feed them. Okay, just something weird. But we had about 350 people that registered there. 350 to 400 people registered for the giveaway. The same thing happened. And then we went to Madison, and Madison was a huge show. And in that show, we had prize packages in each one. In Madison, it was a fishing show. Chris Califas agreed to take somebody out for 4 hours fishing, wherever they wanted to, whether it's a Wisconsin River or the Prairie or some of the local lakes. Whether they did it or not, I don't know, but it was part of the package, part of the gimmick to get people to stop by to talk to us and sign up. Of course, we had a lot of candy. I didn't eat much of it, but we had a lot of candy. Okay, and people came by, and those things worked out really, really well. La Crosse was a huge show. This year, our plan is to, and I think we've got some money here, is to go up to Duluth. Duluth show in 2025. We've been told that the Duluth show brings in roughly 50,000 people up there. La Crosse was somewhere around 20,000 people that come there. In Madison, the fishing show is around 15,000 people that show up. So it's a matter of getting out there and getting the information in people's hands. We can print out 30,000 of those things, but if we don't distribute them, they're not doing anybody any good. Okay? I think that's a good way of doing it, okay? Not only for these organizations here that bring people in from the outside, but to get out there and see people and knock on the door.
How did the Tomahawk show go, the home show? You think that's worthwhile?
You were up there for a little bit in Tomahawk this past year, so was Cheryl.
Yeah, Saturdays it was okay. I mean, it wasn't super like inundated with
Yeah.
people, but again, we stuffed the bags with
Yeah.
the guides, and people are always big fans of getting the bags, so you're still getting them out there.
Correct.
There are people that come from the north woods a little bit to go to there, but it's, we have to cut back one of them. I would say that's the one that we wouldn't do. But then it is in our backyard, and it is within the community.
Right. Um,
And $350, you know.
yeah, because I think I had talked to some other businesses that went in, it wasn't, they're on the hedge if they're going to go. So that's
To
why
do it again.
I asked.
So when we put this budget together in the 5 trade shows, when we came up with that $7,900, that was going to be mileage and an estimate on mileage, an estimation on meals, an estimation on hotel rooms, and our cost to get in and our labor, okay? We didn't take any money for labor from the chamber. We didn't do that because I knew we were snuggling up to that number. So the chamber employees did it, that were there, did it, and the chamber paid them for doing it, okay? Contingency fund, conferences, and you can see I've got all these printouts in the back there regarding where the money went, okay? We already got money into the Madison show.
And lacrosse.
And lacrosse, so. And the visitor literature displays, that's what you see here. We got 3 of these printed up.
We're up on the TV.
Oh, there they are up there. You see Chris Califas with his fish in the wall, and that's in the Wisconsin River just down by Riverside Park that he caught that. The couple of people biking, and then you can see this one in the middle there, and the other one is snowboarding and kayaking. Okay. The biggest question that we had in Cheryl down in Iowa was, how much snow do you have? I told him, you got more here than we do up north.
Yeah.
And at that time they did because they had that huge storm go through.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the 3 banners that we cost $600 for, and I know Sarah's going to be working with the city on coming up with some other banners too, on the marketing and communication side of things. So that's what I wanted to do on the budget side of things. Okay.
Okay, well, that'll lead us right into the request then that we have the sub A application for Carry the Cross. I know this came to us, I think this is a late one, right?
Yes.
And
When we had-
go ahead.
we didn't have, we had some detail, but there was really,
It was very vague.
it was. So I guess before we decide, and it helps to have the budgetary background now to see if this is something that we can afford to do or not, based on its merits or lack thereof. Is there any additional information that they come up with, or is it still the original?
No,
They
they,
changed the application. If I remember right, the application said anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 was the request.
Yeah.
And it was vague from that standpoint. And it was late. And we, at the time, we said no to it. We said, come back in the spring of the year.
Didn't even have a date.
Yeah.
Come back in the spring of the year, and we'll review the budget and see if there's funds available for it.
Yeah.
Okay? Previously, we gave them money for it, okay? In the previous year. But because it was late and because it was very vague, it was said no. My recommendation is to go ahead and do it because we're gonna have the money available since we're not gonna spend $4,000 on Merrill racetracks.
And I don't have a problem with it. I'm not sure. The other ones we cut back on.
Yes.
So I do see on here some of their advertising on their advertising plan was 89Q, JFW, 88.5 radio, photo news, Flash multi, these are, like, they're the local ones, or maybe they're not. I don't know. It'd be nice to know if they're doing the additional publications that MMC owns, or, you know what I mean? Because we're not gonna fund them if they're doing our Merrill photo news. That does not generate tourism.
I know that last year, individual came in the chamber here, and she was from down by Wisconsin Dells to come up and listen to the group that they were having. So they knew about it down in that general area, so I can't tell you
I'm
specifically.
sure those groups will have their little websites and say this is where we're playing. They
Yeah.
also do if they're with anything.
Yeah, and our purpose is to make sure that we help them get that message across, not the photo news or local radio stations. So if they need help with those things to get beyond our borders so that we put heads in the beds, that's what we have to find an answer for. I mean, even WGFW would be something that is probably just far enough to possibly create an overnight stay here in that, you know, Rylander North area. What did we reduce everybody's requests by? We had I don't have a photographic memory, but did we cut them all by 25% or what was it?
I can't remember. I don't know if it was 25%. I think it was depending upon the venue
Yeah, I
itself
think it was depending on
The
the
days.
event itself.
And yes,
and the number of individuals that would come to the community, I think. I really can't remember.
and I don't know how this was well received. I don't know how many people were really after they said they hope hundreds, hopefully hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we cut it by 25%,
Would 1,000?
what'd you say?
Would 1,000 be
That's what I was thinking.
palatable?
Isn't his request for 1,000?
No,
1,500.
Okay, I thought it was 1,000.
I would say 1,000.
What group is this again? I'm sorry.
Carry the Cross. It's a local, Joe Scheffelbein.
Do you have?
Joe Scheffelbein brings in a Christian music over here at Normal Park
For the date.
for the day.
And it's
A
good.
few, I can't remember if it's a day or a few hours or what.
It's,
Well, yeah, it's at 3 o'clock, I think it starts.
yeah, I think they do 3 hours or something
Yeah.
like that. It's a.
Yeah, it starts at 3 p.m.
Yeah. It's a good thing. I mean, it really is, and they have the right idea. I know that we had this same discussion last year. It would be nice if they would add something to it so that it's more of an
family.
afternoon, little afternoon in the park type of a thing. So if there was, you know, and if we can give them 1,000 and help them this year and encourage them to continue with this event, it obviously
It'll
does
build.
bring, yeah. So it's a little starter, continuation of a starter investment into something hopefully that they can turn into a.
I faintly remember driving by it last year, and it wasn't too bad of a
Yeah.
crowd.
Yeah,
It wasn't like it was hardly anybody showing up.
they would be accurate by saying probably a couple hundred.
Yeah.
The only one thing, the Normal Park is a great spot, and I'm bragging on us here, but there does come a point in time where Normal Park runs out of room. Even some of the gazebo nights when they do that.
Yeah.
Last year,
big
the
one.
Britons, it was packed.
Yeah, it's a square space.
Correct.
When you reach your limit, you're at your limit. You know, and hopefully some of these events get to that point where we have to start talking about moving them to the fairgrounds now.
It's called the Fairgrounds now?
Yes.
It is officially the fairgrounds, yes.
Okay.
But moving it there, putting something in front of the grandstand, you know, that's,
Utilize that.
yeah. So those are good problems to have that we can deal with later.
Correct.
So would anybody care to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to put the request at $1,000 for Carry the Cross Music Fest.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing none. All of those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. So, item 5 is discuss 2025 trade shows.
There you go. My chair's going down, Bob. So, like, we're gonna do the same shows we did this year in addition to Duluth, okay? And typically, down in Iowa we set up Thursday, or we set up Wednesday night, I think it was.
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, and it started Thursday afternoon and went through Sunday at roughly 4 o'clock. The other ones, lacrosse we set up on Thursday also, set up on Thursday, started Thursday night, and went through Sunday. Most of them are like that, okay? So we're gone for the weekend, and we can do that. This year, our plan for tourism is to print, let me back up. We're gonna get 20,000 guides this year. Last year, we printed up 13,000.
Yes.
14,000 guides, something like that. I think it was maybe 14 or 15. I can't remember exactly what it was, but we've got less than 2,000 left. Okay, that's a great thing. Okay, because we're getting it out there. We're distributing it. We're using vector and ink in some of their routes as far as distributing it in their visitor centers that are around. Along with the photo news and their kiosks that they have through Northeast Wisconsin, and we used. Not close publications, what was it?
5-star.
5-star publications up in Rhinelander, Tomahawk, Rhinelander area. They've got other kiosks that you see at the mobile station here. And we're going to work with Quick Trip, right, Sarah, and doing some things over there with Quick Trips around the state. Okay, so getting them out there. So we're going to do 20,000 publications, and we're going to send more publications with us in other places. So we're going to get rid of all 20,000 next year, which is a good thing.
This is related, so we can talk about it, but it kind of isn't. We'll call it being. Has there been any other discussion from Lincoln County on the billboard out on 51?
They're trying to get the property, trying to get the land to put the billboard up. But Lincoln County wants to put up a billboard.
Yeah.
And for Lincoln County, what is it? Wisconsin. What's the organization? Uniquely Wisconsin. They're signing a contract with them to come and do some video shots of Lincoln County and of Merrill and of Tomahawk and the different assets that we have around here. Our plan is to go to Chris Califas, get a TV. Instead of just still pictures like this, we want to get rolling pictures, video of
mountain biking.
Of shots, whether they're up in the air or whatever the case is, and just roll it around so people can see. I can tell them everything I want to tell them about Lincoln County and Merrill, but unless they see it, they don't know what it looks like. Okay, so that'll be helpful this next year at our trade shows. But Lincoln County is looking at getting a billboard, and they're also going to be working with Uniquely Wisconsin to get some things. I think they were working with you on some of that too.
Yep.
So who's getting those videos taken or?
Their publications, I think it's that organization there that deals with it.
Okay, so it's going to be legitimate from Lincoln County.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not.
Yeah, no.
No stock stuff.
It's
Correct.
no stock stuff. It's all Lincoln
Yes.
County material.
That's
So that's a good thing.
correct. That's
Whether it's
exactly.
the Underdown or Black
We're
Square
working
Scurry.
with Nate Meyer and his team on the photos and things.
Yep. I'll do all of that.
Other stuff or other footage.
Okay.
Thanks. Good deal, thank you. Anything else on trade show 2025 or recap? I think we had quite a bit of the recap
I'm going to give
previously.
We did, but I want to give you this. Recently, we had the information came out on economic impact of tourism for the counties and for the state of Wisconsin. Sarah put together a press release for us. We sent it up to the Tomahawk Leader and also the Photo News. I'm guessing the Photo News may have it in this week. Tomahawk Leader had it in last week. We gave it to the radio stations and Synergy, who we're part of also. And they put it out there. I wanted to provide Tourism Commission with how those numbers are developed and where those numbers came from. That the first packet you see there is delivering big economic impact with marketing, science, and data for the state of Wisconsin. You can say all you want that it increases the economic impact of $200 million, but unless you have the data to support it, it's just an opinion, okay? And you can have one and I can have one, or whatever the case is, but this is how they came to those conclusions on the first two packages of information, okay? And how the background. I didn't take a statistics class in college, nor do I ever want to take a statistics class, okay? But those individuals are unique in how they can develop things, and you can see how this comes into play. The more importantly is toward the back here where it says Wisconsin tourism impacts by county, and behind that package. It's got every county in Wisconsin listed right here. It looks like this, but yours is an 8.5 by 11.
Yeah.
What I did is I counted down the top one, or at least a number of them, and Lincoln County ranked, as far as a percentage change, ranked 19th out of the 72 counties as far as the increase in tourism. So that's pretty good. It was a 6% increase in the economic impact for the county. Went from 103 million to 109. It does not break it down by city, okay? It's by county. So you can see that was 109, and I didn't have a chance this morning, but I wanted to go through the state and local taxes where that changed. It ended up being a 6.3% change in state and local taxes. In 2022, it was $5.6 million, and it's estimated to be at $6 million in state and local taxes were collected from tourism. It is big industry for the county, okay, and for the city of Merrill. And we get the tourism dollars from the 6%, but that has no effect on the money they spend, whether it's buying baits or whether it's staying at hotels or being out at council grounds, and the money they spend here. Okay. So which is
the movies and
the movies and everything.
right.
So this is, I wanted to get this in your hands so you have it in case somebody asks you, so how did those numbers develop? And where did they come from? Like again, I'm not a statistics major and I'm not gonna even think that I'm gonna do it, but and included in there is also the press release that we sent out, so you can see it. And then also the sheet that we're able to add Lincoln County to it that we had. The state of Wisconsin is $25 billion. They're not afraid to spend money on tourism in the state, which is a great thing. We need to utilize and emphasize the assets that we have here in the community, in the state.
And if we don't tell people what we have, they're not going to know, like the fat tire, bike things and the scurry.
For your information, Bob, and for Mark and Sue, last year was the first year in many, many years that we went to trade shows. If not, did you go to trade shows at all? So in the last 10 years?
15.
Last 15 years, we didn't go to any trade shows. We spent the money in advertising, like with close publications, just to put ads in magazines to get them in the hotels and stuff like that. Does that help? It does to a certain degree, but it's much more effective if we're there talking to people, in my opinion. I don't have any data to support it, but in my opinion.
It's having a presence though, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
They can put a face to a city. I remember talking to those people. They were really nice, and they told us about the council grounds and the ice cream shops that they have and things like that. If they're going through, well, let's just stop. They got chips,
We, as Cedar Falls asked us to come back.
Iowa asked us to.
Iowa, they asked if we would come back. And
And
there's only 2 chambers. We were one of the two,
Hackensack was the other
Yeah.
one in northern Minnesota.
yeah, we were the only chambers at the event.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
yeah, they really enjoyed having us, so.
I'm sure they did. With your guys'
Our
personalities.
plan this year is to try and get more people at the booth. Cheryl has been in touch with Paul's mom, Fiona, is it
Flory.
Flory? And Paul happens to be coaching basketball at Oklahoma. And if he's got an opportunity to get away for that weekend, he'll come and sign autographs at our booth. So that would be pretty cool to have. You know,
Yeah.
he sent them to the Sweet 16 in that final shot. So
Yeah.
to have them there would be cool. Would be nice. So we're trying to do that.
Any draw, you'll have a line.
Volunteers to do more shows, i.e. muskie shows, sports shows. I'm your Huckleberry. I'll do
Okay.
it.
Good. Okay.
I
Thank
go
you.
to most of them anyway. I'm
Okay.
heading down to Orlando to.
We haven't gone that far. We,
I-
you know, but
wanna take
I
some
mean,
guides
the
along?
fishing
Largest
show, the
sports
fishing
show
show in
going on.
Madison we were
Next
at.
month.
You know, so that's in. Was that in end of February? I think
End
it
of
was.
February,
End
yeah.
of February. So, okay, that'd be great.
Anytime. I'll do
Okay.
any show you want.
We'll get some Merrill Chamber shirt for him, or City of Merrill, or whatever the case
Some
is.
guides, yeah.
Absolutely, we'll go down there and
Pass
pack
them
them
up.
up. Teresa and I were down in
Absolutely.
Madison. It was a busy show.
Well, thanks for all the hard work, everybody. That's wonderful. It's great to see the chamber spreading out that far and helping promote Merrill. I mean, it like you said, it has been a long
It takes time.
It does.
It takes time. You have to plant the seed and water it and
But it
it'll
also
grow.
takes resources.
Mhm.
Not only financial resources, but human resources. Come the end of February, we're pretty much drained. You know, I gotta watch their wages to make sure that we fall in line with the chamber's budget. And so we, you know, Cheryl may be down there for 3 days, and I say, well, stop and see your son down in northern Paw Paw, Illinois for a couple of days, and then come in on Wednesday or something like
Yeah.
that. You know, but gotta manage those things.
Well, we appreciate that. Keep up the good work. Definitely.
And really, if, depending on what it is and I'm available, I would consider
That would be great.
helping.
Because it is a long day, and even if
Oh.
we can get a couple hour break at some point in time, just to walk around, or just to go and sit and relax and just,
Yeah.
you know.
I've done a lot of them.
Yeah.
I know.
Yep. That'd be great.
All right.
We'll pay for their hotel room and meals, so when they come back here, they can't piss and moan that they're expensive. No,
Mark, you're signed up?
I don't think he's got.
Fishing
Oh,
wise.
one other thing, the Lincoln County, Wisconsin Counties Association pays Lincoln County pays a fee to Wisconsin Counties Association to be a member of, it's called North Central, it's International Trade Consumer and Economic Development. They're changing it to North Central Tourism, which is ITBAC, okay? It's a 9-county area in this area, 9-county area.
Yeah.
And they just were part of that from the chamber standpoint. And they did elect me the chairperson of that committee, so that's a good thing on tourism. So we can try and get more things coming to our area. But we will move forward with those types of things too.
And if I
Because
may-
we can't be in silos anymore. Okay, we got help. We need help from. Well, we went to Eau Claire too. I forget about that, but we need help like
And
from.
Green Bay.
And Green Bay. We're in Green Bay and Eau Claire besides those other shows. But Tomahawk helped us out in a couple of instances. Anago helped us out in a couple of instances, and we helped them out. So we're trying to get people to come. I'm selfish. I want them to come here, but if they're not going to come here, I want them to come to county. Okay, to see the county.
And we've had about 70 of those back requests, so people go on this website
Yep.
and they can request information on the counties and specific information and that kind of stuff. So then we mail out visitor guides and maps and information on Merrill. And so we've had about 70 of those already this year.
Excellent.
trying to bring people to the community.
Yeah.
I know I forgot something, but I'll let you guys get the gist of
Anything more
things.
on the NFL draft in the spring?
Thank you.
Can you maybe say what preparations we might have to make, or?
Thank you. I talked to all three of the hotels about getting together. I would say within the next month, a month and a half, to come up with some sort of plan. And we want to put a half a page ad or a page ad in there, in their visitor guide, about come to Merrill for the NFL draft. Here's what we've got. There's talk. I know Councilmember Kaler has talked to me about possibly getting a shuttle from Merrill to Green Bay. And there might be businesses in the area, they may offer discounts on meals or things of that nature, but we want to get the hotels together to have people come here. We have roughly 150 rooms available. The Green Bay area, Green Bay, Fox Valley area, I think only has maybe about 250,000 rooms, somewhere in that neighborhood, or a little less. A lot of those are already spoken for by the NFL.
Yes.
They make the reservations for the draft. Each team gets so many. The number one people get so many. A lot of those are taken up. So, Shawano, Wausau, Merrill, Wisconsin Rapids, Stevens Point. People are going to be coming there. They expect 750 to 1 million people. So we want some of them to come here.
And they will. Some will. That really.
Especially if we're offering them a shuttle
Right.
or something like that they can. And I don't know how big that shuttle is. I don't know if we get Bremen and Berkner's involved, and maybe it's a 10 or 15 passenger van that we rent from them, and maybe it's every couple of hours, that we take it down there the first couple of days.
Or a Lamers or two, and then
Or Lamers
or
down
two,
there
yeah.
that
Yep,
way, because
or
then you
whatever.
can do 50 at a crack or whatever it is.
Correct.
I know I was in Kekwana, not last weekend, but the weekend before. We had a summer league basketball tournament for my son, and we had to stay because they played Friday night and then 2 games on Saturday. And I talked to the hotel person about that on Friday, and I said, are you booked for the draft? And she said that they were contacted, and the hotels in their area a couple of months ago it was through the Green Bay Packers, but for the NFL, and they have a block on their entire hotel.
Sure.
And the one across there, the one there. So they just came through and said, don't rent any from here to here.
They're
Don't-
going to be
don't-
filled.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're going to be filled.
And there's houses across from Lambeau Field. Somebody said they're going for $18,000 for the weekend.
That's correct.
To $20,000 just to rent the house.
Yeah.
That's.
Bob, let's build the house. You should have bought the house in Green Bay. My brother-in-law lived right across from Lambeau Field. He eventually sold his house, but
But people will drive here, even if there's no shuttle. They will drive. My son drives at least 50 minutes to work every day. It's when he lived in Seattle. It's not
hour and 45 minutes to Lambeau
Yes.
Field from here.
exactly.
It's
so
nothing.
that's nothing.
It's nothing.
People
So
will stay
we
here.
talk- I
but
know
we have
that-
to get the word out.
in that, we're going to put something in there. Close publications, part of our advertising for next year. They've got an NFL draft section, and we're going to be in that, okay, for the hotels. So
Good.
it's a big thing for the state.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so item number 7, set date and time for the next,
No,
no
number
grant
6.
application, 6, sorry. Thank you.
Do you
6.
want any changes made to the application, or do you think it's sufficient the way it is?
My only thing on it has been the budget, and I don't know if there's a way that we always ask for a detailed budget. Some people understand that, others don't. Is it worth?
We could do complete, because it says present last year's complete. We could complete what,
So, and not to, we don't want to get into the hand-holding business, but maybe in there, if there's something in parentheses where we could say, we want to see your revenue and expense, actual, maybe from the previous year, your projected revenue and expense for this current period that you're asking for funding.
Yeah, I'm thinking that organizations such as the rodeo or the fair might be reluctant to do that. I'm just, maybe
But they're the ones
No,
asking us
I
for
think-
money.
they're true.
rodeo usually provides whatever we need.
From the,
Some of them do, but, and it's, this isn't necessarily geared completely towards everybody, but there are some that we get, kind of, still get the napkin, you know, with a little pen on a napkin. I think it's gonna cost this much, we're gonna advertise, this is what we're gonna spend, and it's not spelled out. Not that we need to know every single detail, but at least it helps when we're making decisions on that day, so that we have, I guess, more of a uniform data set to look at. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm. You can certainly ask them for it,
Okay.
okay?
Does anybody have an issue with that? Even if we just put that in parentheses and just ask them to have, if it's a new event, then it's obviously going to be a projection, but to include what exactly they want to advertise in and where.
One of the other things we may want to ask for is the number of attendees. Okay? Because we talked about beds and heads.
Yep.
We've mentioned that before. Estimated number of attendees for those events.
Yep. I know we have the projected number that we ask for, but
Yeah.
if they could, if they
Listen,
could give
projecting
us an
overnight
estimate.
stays at your event. Yeah. Like with the fair, I will tell you that I know the class reunions, that there's one or two that have already blocked off a certain number of rooms until this date, if you're going to be coming to the class reunion. Because it's, obviously they know when the fair is, and there's a couple of reunions like that too. So we know that during the fair, that people are staying in the motels, not only because of the fair, but because of their class reunion.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's Sam Smith or if it's Jody Hayes, you know.
For Bob Last.
Yeah, Bob,
Who's he?
yeah. Yeah, you understand, because I know during the fair, that's what some of those people are. Whether they say, you know, and obviously it's like, okay, we're meeting down at the fair on Friday night, and then Saturday, this is where we're gonna have our,
So I guess, yeah, long story short, if we can just maybe, Cheryl, add just a
parentheses.
simple, yeah,
Yep.
a simple request that maybe guides them a little bit into what we're looking for,
Okay.
that'd be great. So yeah,
When do you want them in? And when is the meeting scheduled, Cheryl?
October 22nd.
The reason we're having it in October this year, the 31st, I'm having my knee replaced. Okay, so I'll be out in November, for a little bit in November.
okay.
And I'll be gone the first 2 weeks of November too.
I should be gone to our Portugal trip in November.
Okay. So if we would do something,
And by the end of September,
yeah, so you'd have enough time to compile everything and put it together in packets?
September
Yeah,
30th.
usually we have them in, they get a month. So usually they go out the beginning of August, and then they have until the end of, right at the beginning of September to get them in.
And I know
So-
that's difficult with the fair being where it's at, okay? Right in the middle of August.
So
A
if
lot
we-
of times we don't have the numbers
we-
available yet.
If we would give them through September, it's a Friday, September 20th,
Okay.
then that gives you a month before our meeting on the 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, so you want them
Well-
back by,
September
So-
20th.
so, yeah, September 20th, that's a month.
Friday.
Cheryl will send them out first part of August.
Yeah, we'll have
First
them,
part of
I'll
August?
have them go out, the 12th, August 12th. That Monday after the fair.
Yeah.
They'll go out August 12th and then do back September 20th.
Gives them 6 weeks.
Okay.
Should be enough, how much?
Okay, so that takes us to 7 then, set date time for the next meeting, that was October 22nd, right?
Yep.
yeah, at noon?
And this is a longer one.
Yeah.
Because you go through all of them. Might be an hour and a half long.
So usually all of that, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. And then item number 8,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We are adjourned.